these here thingies. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna stop messing with myself. Okay, this is on, I'm sure. Excuse me. I am going to pray. God, I thank you so much for your love. I thank you for all the things that you are doing, visible and unseen. I ask that you please prepare our hearts for whatever you are speaking to us. May we be open to your love and light and life. Please be with anyone that comes across us, God. May they hear your love and acceptance above all else, God, and encouragement. Amen. Okay. So we are on day 83. Day 83. 2 Corinthians 4:7. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. Yep. If there's any verse that reminds me that God doesn't need us to be perfect or grand or beautiful or talented to use us, it's this one. Truth. There's a question mark there. Truth. I have felt like not enough a lot of days. I keep trying to do too much and feeling like I'm failing at all the things. Does that ever happen to you? Like you spin your wheels over and over, and for all your striving, you just don't feel like you get anywhere. That happened to me recently. Last week, I was trying to get an album finished, plan out some special family time for our kids, rehearse for a live streamed event for a collaborative project I was a part of, and also get some writing and editing done on this book. By the end of the week, I felt like I just couldn't quite keep all the plates spinning. Honestly, I felt like I was drowning. I was trying to operate in my own power, not God's. I was trying to act like I had no limitations, but I do. I felt so unqualified to do the things God was calling me to do. I wanted to do it all excellently, and I wanted to look like Superwoman while doing it. But no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't. But when I read through this verse, I was reminded that God doesn't require us to be enough. He has more than enough to pour into us each day, each moment. We mainly just need to be open to receiving his power, letting it flow through us. Why? Because we are not trophies designed for display. That's a good line. We're jars, carriers, and conduits of his light and his gospel and his love. In fact, I think the more unqualified we are to do the things he calls us to do, the better. That way he gets all the credit. This verse also makes me think back to a season in college when I was trying to do way too many things at once. I wanted to make straight A's at work. I wanted to make straight A's, work a side job, and be as social as I possibly could, all while taking on a leadership role in a student organization and participating in the gospel choir, as well as 3 other student ministry groups. I think I had at least 1 to 3 events or meetings and hangs a night. Wow. I was dropping balls all over the place. My grades were suffering, and I was worn out. I'll never forget my dad listening to my discouraged and weary heart and then speaking this over me. A jar without cracks might look prettier, but when the water pours into that perfect jar, it can only come out of the top. That's all good and well, but a jar with a ton of cracks, water is going to pour out all over the place. Embrace your cracks and the broken parts of your heart and your life, Ellie. Because she's talking about her dad. Your cracks are where God's living water will pour through the most powerfully. Your broken heart will be what ends up helping others see Jesus more clearly and feel less alone as they find their way through this broken world. I'm so grateful we're not confined to a shelf for others to admire how perfect we are. Instead, we get to be conduits of God's power, grace, and love, built for community and the common good. I'm so grateful we have a source of power that doesn't end with our limited gifts and strength. It is limitless, and we have the great joy of carrying that love and power and peace and light of God out into this weary world. Have you ever seen God use you as a conduit before? What was that like? Sometimes answering this is, I don't know, kind of, because I guess it's like, yeah, here I am doing that, right? But specifically, on this channel, I've talked about it often. I'm a person that if I get that quickening in my heart, I will obey it. Or even sometimes if I, get a little nudge, maybe it's not so strong as a quickening in my heart. What do I mean by quickening in my heart? I don't know. Sometimes it's just like that little, there's a movement. Or if it's like, a fleeting thought, but that fleeting thought, time passes and the fleeting thought comes again. And then the fleeting thought comes again out of nowhere. There's no reason for it to come. I'll obey it. And through this channel and the people that I do it for, you, I think it becomes amazing to me because I'm just human, but how God can confirm things, and yeah, that is amazing to me because I'm not anything special. It's just God in me. So, in what ways do you feel unqualified in things God has called you to? How does this verse speak to that feeling? So the verse, but we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. Well, I've previously prayed numerous times, God, beam through every crack and crevice of my being. But yeah, I guess, I am not a pastor, but here I am, or preacher. I'm not anything, just me here. But and I've said it before here too, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about how God has created me and Him through me. So yeah, I think that oftentimes that is how I view things and put things, is I'm doing it for God and unto God, and I just show up and He does the rest. And everything, even in my singing and my writing, everything, it's Him. It's Him. It's not me. Some might think like, oh, that's a hands-off type or whatever. But it is true, because ultimately I will fail. I will lack. But God in my lacking can make it special. So, in what ways might you need to stop trying to operate in your own power and let God's all-surpassing power pour into you? In what ways might you need to stop trying to operate in your own power and let God's all-surpassing power pour into you? I think I actively do it here on, while I'm doing the devotional. I would say that probably it's more of like personal relationships, or even in my parenting, that God guide me. There are times that, my son might have a moment like, I have no idea what to say in this moment. Please help me, God. Yeah. So I think more of that, giving over just the daily routine things, giving that to Him too. Every bit, the extravagant and the ordinary. All right. The prayer. Lord, the next time I feel like I'm cracked and far from perfect, Help me remember that you never meant for me to do everything on my own anyway. Thank you, even though my energy, my patience, and my time all run out. Your gospel, your love, your mercy, and your power never do. Let these things pour out of me today, especially from my broken places. Amen. Yeah. There's I think it's Hillsong United. It is Broken Vessels. All these pieces broken and scattered, in mercy gathered, mended and whole. Take my heart, Lord, I'll be your vessel for all to see. Your love in me, oh, amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh, oh, I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I can see your eyes. I think those are the wrong lyrics. Anyway, it was the first start of all these pieces broken and scattered. Yeah, that's Broken Vessels, Hillsong. All right, I'm going to pray. God, I thank you so much for your love. Thank you for using broken vessels, God, to be your conduits. I ask that you please help us to accept our brokenness and surrender it to you, Lord, because in you, you make us whole and make it useful. You make our brokenness useful, God. I ask that you please be with whomever may come across this. May they hear and see your love above all else, and your acceptance for who they are naturally, innately. Just bear, God. You love us. Unordained, God, undecorated. So just thank you for that. As you please protect all those watching this and they're coming and going, Lord, keep them safe. And may they feel your protection and your providential care with them, Lord. Amen. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate it. Bye.